Welcome back to the Ed Show. Thanks for watching tonight. Last night on this broadcast, we told you about how elected officials are peddling rumors to further their right-wing agenda. Ooh, we got another dandy for you tonight. Well, another completely made-up hit job is making the rounds, and it comes from Breitbart News editor at large, Ben Shapiro. Now Shapiro knows a scoop when he sees one. Last year, he told America all about a nefarious hug that President Barack Obama gave a professor some 20 years ago. And now, citing unnamed sources, Shapiro alleges that Defense Secretary nominee Chuck Hagel have made financial ties to a group called Friends of Hamas. Pretty explosive stuff. The story, published on February 7th, got picked up by some right-wing blogs, including the National Review Online. Senator Rand Paul weighed in on it.
Let me bring up one piece of information that Ben Shapiro at Breitbart put out today, which is one of the foreign funders behind Senator Hagel that he has not yet disclosed formally is something called Friends of Hamas. If that is in fact true, Senator, would that lead you to vote against Mr. Hagel?
You know, I saw that information today also, and that is more and more concerning. With each day, there are new things coming out.
Well, we got a problem, Houston. Friends of Hamas does not exist. The group was made up by New York Daily News reporter Dan Friedman as a joke. Friedman says he was asking a Republican aide on Capitol Hill about rumors that Hagel had spoken to controversial groups.
So I was trying to follow up on that, and I spoke to a Republican aide on the phone, and I asked about that, and I threw out the example of Friends of Hamas.
Friedman was making a joke, but the aide apparently passed along the information, and Shapiro ran with the story, and believe it or not, he is standing by it. The story, as reported, is correct. Whether the information I was given by the source is correct, I'm not sure. What a journalistic standard. Shapiro's story is still posted on Breitbart.com with no correction or clarification. Let's bring in Eric Burns tonight, Democratic strategist and founder of Bullfight Strategies. Eric, good to see you. Good to have you with us tonight.
Thanks for having me back, Ed. It's great to be here.
You have got United States senators, in this case Rand Paul, and the conservative media talking about made-up stuff to try to make the case against somebody who is probably going to be on the president's cabinet. How big a problem is this?
I think it's a serious problem, Ed. You know, it's one thing, and it's bad enough, and we've seen the effects of, folks like Breitbart.com or Fox News pushing, false stories, asking the baiting question and then running with it. But to really have senior staff for United States senators, most likely somebody from the Senate Armed Services Committee, peddling knowingly false information is a very serious problem, because this isn't just a run-of-the-mill story. This is a confirmation hearing for the Secretary of Defense. The world is watching. Our foreign policy is going to be affected by this hearing and by this appointment. Yeah. And I think it's something that when I was on the Hill as a communications director, I never would have dreamed of passing on this kind of information. I think there needs to be, somebody needs to look into this. Who was this staffer?
Seeing how it gets in the conversation culture of the country, that sound clip that we just played of Hugh Hewitt, who thinks he's a big academia kind of dude, he says that Hagel had not disclosed it yet, meaning that he is accepting this as gospel, that yes, that Chuck Hagel does have ties with groups that are very questionable with the United States. I mean, this should be a credibility issue across the board, but the right-wing media doesn't play by those rules, do they?
No, they don't. In fact, this is their favorite kind of tried and true tactic: is you ask a question, or you make a statement with a question mark on the end of it, and then you use that to pillory folks and say, what's your answer to this? You're not going to answer this. Aren't you going to disclose this? And we've seen that throughout this hearing, this confirmation process with Senator Hagel, and it's actually delayed this this confirmation for a month, when we actually need Senator Hagel on the job as the Secretary of Defense. And so it's a very serious problem. It's not just a partisan issue. I mean, this is about the core integrity of the functioning of government.
What's it mean for Hagel, you think, quickly?
I think it means that Hagel should be confirmed. Absolutely, this is over, and they need to vote to confirm Hagel as Secretary of Defense as soon as they come back into session.
All right, Wired magazine reports that Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell asked the Pentagon to get to the bottom of what he called a very troubling story. He wrote, I'm writing on behalf of a constituent who has contacted me regarding Guantanamo Bay prisoners receiving post 9/11 GI Bill benefits. The constituent wrote to McConnell about this disturbing information after reading an article on the Duffel blog. It turns out that Duffel blog reports on all kinds of stuff, like Syria hosting Iraq war reenactors. In other words, it's satire, folks. And now McConnell's office is defending its actions. They put out a statement saying Senator McConnell's office is hyper vigilant about finding answers to the questions raised by his constituents. How do you make that up, Eric?
That's a ridiculous statement from Senator McConnell's office. Yes, Senate offices, House offices, they get a lot of requests for information, but they do have the internet in those offices. the staff can Google things and look to see if they're true or not. And I just can't imagine any Senate staffer looking at that story and and what that constituent was requesting and thinking, yes, we need to send this on to the administration to have someone really look into this. It's absurd.
You can't believe anything the Republicans are saying on any issue these days. Eric Burns, great to have you with us tonight. Thanks so much.